Hi, my name is Melinda Taylor, and I am going to do a video book review of the book Dear Tolstoy, Yours Gandhi by Jonathan Kislev. The first thing I want to say is that I truly loved this book. I loved it because it was real. It was based on real historical events that happened. There were letters, notes, pictures, dates, places, things that proved that this really happened. So it was historical, but it was also fiction. It also required Jonathan, the author, to use his imagination and to write a story that would be interesting for people to read, that would take these historical events and make them real, genuine, authentic, make it something that you could read and understand and relate to, and make learning about history fun. And I feel that Jonathan did a great job with that, at least for me, because I know I learned a lot and I enjoyed learning it very much. I honestly enjoyed reading this book just as much as any book that I would read for my leisure. And I am a book lover. I love to read books, which is part of how I'm doing these book reviews in the first place. And I have the privilege of reading the book, proofreading the book, and doing a video review of the book. So I am enjoying it very much, and I'm very happy to be working with Jonathan to do this. And I like the fact that the book is historical fiction. I like the fact that you get to really know the characters. Not only Tolstoy and Gandhi, the main characters of the story, but also the people that influenced them, the people that were part of their lives, the people they loved and cared about, their families, their friends. Both were married with children. Tolstoy had more than Gandhi, and both had their different relationships with their wives. Tolstoy's relationship with his wife was, well, it went through a lot of changes compared to how in love they had been in the beginning. By the end of their relationship, things were more rocky and complicated, although they did still love each other and had been together a long time. And Tolstoy also had somewhat of a rocky relationship with some of his children, because you don't find out until the end of the book, but Tolstoy had a difficult childhood, and because of his difficult childhood, he lost his parents young. He even lost a grandparent young, and so he ended up having issues with being close to people because of that, and so it made it difficult for him to be close to his family, or at least to show his love for them the way that normally people would show their love, where they give compliments and they're very loving, they say loving and kind things. And Tolstoy was more of a disciplinarian and more strict and more likely to give criticism and to be tough than to give loving words. But ironically, Tolstoy was a very strong believer in love and in nonviolence, and he wrote about that, and he had many books. He was a prolific writer, very popular and very well known in his time, and he had many books that he wrote that were very popular, and then he had some other books that he wrote that were less popular. And those books, actually, some of those books got him excommunicated from the Catholic Church at the time, because he accused the church of not following Jesus's beliefs in nonviolence. Tolstoy was a very strong believer in love and nonviolence, and using nonviolence as a way to fight injustice, to try to make things better. And Gandhi was also a firm believer in nonviolence, and through his friendship and mentorship long distance with Tolstoy because they never actually met. Their whole relationship was through writing letters to each other, because at that time, in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when this took place, that's what they had. They didn't have all of the technology of today. And Gandhi had a very close relationship with his wife and with his children, although there was a strain when he began to work with the nonviolence movement in South Africa, which he eventually also took with him to his home country of India, and he would have to travel a lot because he became the leader of the movement and was away from his family. But still, they were supportive. And it's interesting too because at the end of the book, Gandhi has a chance to meet Tolstoy's eldest daughter, Tatiana. And Tatiana had a difficult relationship with Tolstoy because of the way he was, the way that he didn't show a lot of love and had high expectations of his family, and would let them know if he did not meet those expectations, if they did not meet them. And Tatiana wanted to see the loving side of him that she saw in his writing, because she helped him with his mail and things of that nature and read his books, and that she saw that he would show other children who weren't his own. He had an easier time writing about love and speaking about it and showing it to people that weren't his immediate loved ones than to his loved ones. So it was very ironic, and it's probably because of his difficult childhood. And when Gandhi has a chance to meet Tatiana, he finds out that Gandhi wasn't just the loving person that he envisioned him to be through his writing. You know, Gandhi was inspired by Tolstoy, and Tolstoy mentored him and helped him to really follow his belief in the nonviolence movement. And he created a farm based on Tolstoy's beliefs and called it Tolstoy's Farm, and there were many other farms like that at the time. But Gandhi was one of the few people that Tolstoy never criticized as much as he did others. Gandhi really admired and respected Tolstoy really admired and respected Gandhi and believed in what he was doing and encouraged him, and Gandhi even ended up writing a book because of his feeling pushed by Tolstoy to do so. And one of the things that I loved about the book was the way that you really got to know all the characters and got into their heads and really got to see all of their good and their bad, their ugly, their in-between, and, you know, how they interacted with other people and how they, you know, made mistakes and learned from their mistakes, and, you know, how they were good people, but just, you know, imperfect, just like we all are, sinners, just like we all are, and the good that they were able to do, even within their imperfections. Tolstoy was able to do amazing writing, and he was able to be a mentor to a lot of people, even though his relationship with his family had its ups and downs and struggles. Even with Tolstoy and his wife, they had their struggles later in their relationship. And for Gandhi, you know, he had his struggles trying to fight this movement and spending time in jail and having others who believed in the movement with him, such as close friends of his, spending time in jail as well, and having his times when he just wanted to give up, trying to use nonviolence to fight against injustice, against Indians, and against other immigrants, such as Chinese immigrants. And, you know, the work that Gandhi was able to do in South Africa, where he was able to, it took time, but he was eventually able to get the justice that the Indian and Chinese immigrants deserved, where they were being treated unfairly and being treated differently than people of more Caucasian backgrounds. And he was also able to use those same nonviolence principles in his own country of India later in history. But this book was about what he went through in South Africa and in England, and how he was able to do his work there. And a big part of that was this long-distance friendship and mentorship with Tolstoy. So I loved the book, and I loved the way that you were really able to see this relationship between them and how helpful they were to each other. And, Gandhi brought Tolstoy a lot of happiness with other difficult things happening in his life, with his relationships with family and with his health as it eventually deteriorated before his death. And Gandhi was, he got so much help from Tolstoy. It literally inspired him to lead this nonviolence movement and to do what needed to be done, to be a leader and to make it happen, to see it through however long it took. And it's just such a beautiful story of friendship and love and inspiration and keeping the faith, sticking to your beliefs no matter what, and, getting down but still getting back up. And it's just great. I really, really enjoyed the book. I enjoyed getting into people's heads and understanding them, and I enjoyed learning about the history, and I enjoyed the fiction. It was just very well done and very well written. Thank you.